Okay, Shalom Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of the millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick, as always, an edifying lesson. And for today's lesson, what I wanted to do is to discuss and react to a video that was made by the elder Nadzaba recently yesterday. So let me just read this quick precept first. Okay, 2 Peter 3 verse 3 in the NLT, it says, most importantly, I want to remind you that in the last days, scoffers will come mocking the truth and following their own lusts, right? So essentially, as a matter of fact, let me just play a little bit of the video so you have in a context of what is being said, right? So without further ado, let's tune in for a bit.
Look, fam, y'all gotta let this Hebrew Israelite shit go. We are not Hebrew Israelites. There is no kingdom of Judah at all in West Africa. You saying actually we Hebrew Israelites know your heritage in West Africa links up to ancient Israel? Ain't no goddamn, ain't no way, ain't no goddamn way. When, where, and how did that ever happen? The Igbo do not subscribe to the Israelite culture. The Akan, all of this shit is opposite of what you talking about. Christianity, Hebrew, all of that shit washed up with the motherfucking Europeans. That's where all of this shit come from. Y'all just don't want to admit the shit. Wasn't no Africans in West Africa talking about Yahweh prior to the motherfucking white man showing up. Know your own history, fam. Y'all gotta let this Hebrew Israelite shit go. We are not Hebrew Israelites. There is no kingdom of Judah at all in West Africa. You saying actually we Hebrew Israelites know your heritage in West Africa links up to ancient Israel? Ain't no goddamn, ain't no way, ain't no goddamn way. When, where, and how did that ever happen? The Igbo do not subscribe to the Israelite culture. The Akan, all of this shit is opposite of what you talking about. Christianity, Hebrew, all of that shit washed up with the motherfucking Europeans. That's where all of this shit come from. Y'all just don't want to admit the shit. Wasn't no Africans in West Africa talking about Yahweh prior to the motherfucking white man showing up. Know your own history.
All right, so that's the clip, so let's just deal with a lot of some things that he said here, right? So first of all, we're not Africans, right? So as a matter of fact, I want to bring out two precepts. Let's go to Sirach. Okay, this is Sirach chapter 11 verse 7, and it says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Now, here you have an individual that, doesn't believe and doesn't understand, like, how is the so-called Western African tribes. So, for example, you have your Yoruba, your Igbo, or your Ashanti. There's more others, Hausa. How these people are connected to our people. Essentially, they are our people, but they began to go under these different names in Western Africa. And how we also know that these are our people is the fact that how they conducted themselves when they were in Africa. Now, another point that he made was the fact that he said, are Africans. And now we're not Africans, right? We are Israelites, right? There's a difference. So, I didn't have this on my list here, but I just wanted to bring out this quick point. This is Exodus chapter 11, verse 7, and it says, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against any man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord Yahweh put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And this is one of the biggest things that has our people so messed up in the head about because of Esau's pseudoscience, because they strongly believe that all skin folk is kinfolk because we share, a similar hue. Like I'm kind of more specifically speaking about your typical Israelite that has darker features. They believe that because they have a similar shade in hue, right, with so-called Africans like your Ethiopians, your original Egyptians and so on and so forth, they think that all those people are your people, and that's not true. When you go through the lineage, Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes, right? So clearly there is a difference. There's two different lineages we're talking about here, right? These so-called Negroes are descendants of Shem, Arphaxad, all the way down to Terah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And then you have Ham, the progenitor of the dark races. So all those different ites that you read about in Deuteronomy 7, those are your so-called Africans, and Ham gave birth to those four sons. It was Canaan, Put, Cush, and Mizraim, right? So I just want to dissect a lot of these things that he said, because our people, they don't actually go out and actually do the research to actually figure it out, and they're not very studious. They rather, it's a lot easier to essentially scoff at what is being said to them rather than actually ask sincere questions. So that's why I'm actually making this lesson, so to actually bring some understanding as well, right? So let me go back to my lesson plan. Okay, so the link I have here is a short link. I just want to go through one of the customs that is being discussed in the continent of Africa, right? Because that was an area where a lot of our people fled to, right? So, okay, let me get another precept. Just bear with me on this. I just had quite a few, but what was I gonna go? Okay, where is it? Okay, this is 2 Corinthians 4 verse 3, and it says, "For if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost." And this individual here is completely lost, because he doesn't understand your heritage. He doesn't understand bloodline. And our people, that's another thing as well. They confuse They confuse bloodline with physical, or I should say, a physical nation's nationality, so to speak. So, for example, America is not a bloodline. Canada is not a bloodline. Being an Israelite is a bloodline, because we're from the seed of Abraham, Isaac. We're from the seed of Jacob, right? Just leave it at that, right? So America is just a citizenship. So that's probably the best word I wanted to say. They confuse citizenship with bloodline. For example, Paul is a Roman, but he is of the seed of Israel. He's of the seed and the tribe of Benjamin, right? That's in Romans 11, right? Just to show there's a distinction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read a little bit of this one. I chose one of these, they have many different, what's it called? Customs that are found in the amongst the Western African tribes. And one of the customs I chose today for this lesson was it's called Levirate marriages, right? And essentially I want to read it, and it's actually also in the scriptures, and this is a custom that our people kept in this particular land, right? So I want to link this particular link in the description below, so you brothers can read it for yourself as well, right? And I want to pull up some precepts to back up what I'm saying, right? So I'm not just going to be talking out of my ass like this guy here, right? I'm actually going to prove all things that the scriptures say. So it says here, so this is from the website. I'm just reading it in my hand. It says, in Nigeria, cultural practices often serve as pillars of tradition, reflecting the rich diversity and heritage of various tribes across the country. Such one practice, known as Opo Sisu, so I'll link this in the description as well down below so you can see it, among the Yoruba people offers a glimpse of the complexities of family dynamics and lineage preservation. Understanding what this is. So, Opo Sisu is a traditional Yoruba ceremony performed by the husband's family shortly after the death and burial of a woman's husband. Unlike some misconceptions, it's essential to clarify that this practice is not about enforcing or offering the widow to the husband's family. Instead, it's a ritual where the husband's family expresses their desire for the widow to remain within the familial household. It says, in Yoruba culture, family ties are deeply cherished. The lineage continuity is paramount. Opo Sisu symbolizes the acknowledgement of the widow's status as part of the husband's family, even after his passing, by offering her the opportunity to marry a younger brother within the family. The widow maintains her connection to her late husband's lineage, ensuring her continued inclusion in the family affairs and inheritance rights. Right. So this is very important because, even though, despite the fact that the husband might pass away, it's an arrangement that's set up to actually continue the lineage, continue the legacy, right? Instead of the husband, kind of going back to the streets, so to speak, in loose terms, right? It's promoting family, right? And this is part of our customs as well, because this is how this is part of our customs. So I'm gonna get it. So I just want to finish reading this. So it says, while Opo Sisu is a specific to Yoruba culture, similar practices exist amongst other Nigerian tribes, each with its own name and customs. Among the Igbo people, or Igbo, it says a comparable tradition is known as goodness, I can't pronounce this. Mbafu MP. I'll also link this in the description as well. It says, where the husband's family performs rituals to repossess the widow, indicating that her desire to maintain within the family unit. In Hausa culture, this practice is referred as Dora Dakar Yuwa, which involves the husband family playing a significant role in deciding the widow's fate. Right, so that's pretty much it, actually. Right, so essentially, to keep it very, very simple, a man and a woman, they're married, and the husband dies. Now, without next of kin, the husband, if the husband, for example, has a brother, the brother can go on to that woman, essentially, right? So let's get that. Right, so in Nigeria, this is also known as Opo Sisu, right? But this is also found in the scriptures. This is part of our customs, right? So okay, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5, and it says, if two brothers are living together on the same property and one of them dies without a son, his widow his widow may not be married to anyone from outside the family. Instead, her husband's brother should marry her and have intercourse with her to fulfill the duties of a brother-in-law. Right? So, verse 6, it says, I'm going to let this truck pass 1 second. Okay, so lucky for that. Verse 6, this is Deuteronomy 25, verse 6, and it says, the first son she bears to him will be considered the son of the dead brother, so that his name will not be forgotten in Israel. So this is a important custom to actually maintain the family, maintain that essentially that it also maintains life as well, because you don't want to have that woman without a husband. And essentially what happens now, that late brother's his name, his lineage, his legacy does not get so-called diminished, right? So it's an opportunity to actually continue and preserve that legacy that has I don't want to say lost, but because of the late brother's passing, is to continue to forward that lineage and forward that bloodline, right? So that's the importance of this. The Lord is a power that is pro-life. He's not like and he's not like Esau, for example, with Esau's backwards unrighteous decrees that gives women and puts women over the man, right? So, and then you see the result of that in this kingdom, in this society. So this is a particular custom that was also practiced amongst our people, and this is something that a lot of our people, they don't know. And because the scriptures say that our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because they don't actually consider these things, and because they've been in Babylon, they've been marinated in Babylon's wine for so long, they think that this society is all curry and crisp, it's all right, it doesn't, this is the way it should be, and this is far from the truth, right? Let me get Isaiah. Just bear with me on that. As a matter of fact, let me get it over here. Let's see. Isaiah 55 verse 8, and it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts," right? So we're in a situation where the people in this world, they believe, especially these Israelites, that follow the ways of Esau, they think that their ways are higher than the Lord's ways, because when they think about actually trying to keep the laws, when you look into it, and realize man, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's ways are higher than ours. He knows what's right for us. He's the Father that knows best. But this society is filled with so much pride, where people, and you have guys like this that are scoffing, they don't believe anything that's actually being told to them. It kind of goes in one ear and then comes out the other, right? So, oh boy. These Israelites, man, they are what's the word I'm looking for? It's easy for a man without understanding to scoff. That's pretty much what I want to say. Sirach 21 verse 15, and it says, "If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it, and he will add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him, and cast it behind his back," right? So this is the type of individual that we're dealing with. This individual thinks that, okay, you can't conceptualize in this man that we were not always in Africa. We fled into Africa, right, when the temple was destroyed and stuff like that, because Yahushua prophesied about this in Luke the 21st chapter. And we fled not just into Africa, we fled into parts of Europe and Far East, and some of us ended up in the Caribbean, and and so on and so forth, right? So our people don't understand history. They don't understand that we are a people first before a physical location, a physical landmass. Your identity is not tied to a physical landmass. We are a bloodline above these other nations upon the face of the earth. So I'm not sure if I had any. As a matter of fact, let me go back to that custom, read a little bit more there. I don't know if I read everything. Just bear with me on this. Okay, there's a little bit more, so just bear with me. This is Deuteronomy 25 verse 7, and it says, "But if the man refuses to marry the brother's widow, she must go to the town gate and say to the elders assembled there, my husband's brother refuses to preserve his brother's name in Israel. He refuses to fulfill the duties of the brother-in-law by marrying me. And the elders of the town shall summon him and talk to him. And if he refuses and says, I don't want to marry her, Verse 9, it says, the widow must walk over to him in the presence of the elders, pull off his sandal from his foot, spit in his face. Then she must declare, this is what happens to a man who refuses to provide his brother with children, right? So this is also part of a duty to actually bring forth life, right? This is the importance of having these customs. These customs, this is why it says in Deuteronomy as well that this is our wisdom in the sight of these other nations, right? Because when you look at the things that these other nations do, like for example, I had a coworker telling me yesterday how I think it's South Korea. South Korea is apparently offering about $38,000 for people to go get married there and set up and have a family, because they're realizing that in their society people are not having children, and it's the same phenomenon that's happening in Babylon the Great and in these Western countries, because things are becoming so tight. People are not able to actually bring forth and have children, right? So it's a society that's sharply declining, right? And a lot of these children that are growing up, they're not being brought up in the customs. This is why it's so important for Yahushua and the elect to actually rule this society in righteousness, right? A new heavens and a new earth, because when the scriptures, it doesn't lie when it says, when the righteous are in authority, that people rejoice, because you can't, in this society, having children is like a burden, and it's a worry. Like it's almost everything is a worry, right? So, anyways, I kind of rambled on there. Let me see if there's any more. This is verse 10, and it says, ever afterward in Israel, his family will be referred as the man whose sandal was pulled off, right? So it's pretty much about it. That kind of covers the lesson, pretty much. I kind of just wanted to offer some, understanding to, the scoffer, because when you realize and you pick apart what this scoffer is saying, it's very, when you apply the scriptures and you understand the prophecies, it's easy to pull these people apart, right? Because our people, like the scriptures say, we're sottish children, right? And sottish means stupid, right? So, he instead, I would, like me personally, if I was listening to this individual, I would have more respect for him if they actually humble themselves down and actually ask sincere questions. But, Jake loves to scoff, and scoffing is going to get them in trouble with the Lord, man. So, anyways, as a matter of fact, let me end off with this last precept. Because we got scattered all over the world, right? So, So Deuteronomy 28 verse 64, and it says, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And that includes the continent of Africa, right? So anyways, Lord's will, Yahweh Ratazah, Yahweh willing, that this lesson was edifying. I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakodash, that honors the apostles and elders who are millstone, for teaching us is true. Until next time, I say Shalom.